Aquaman. Aquaman lives underwater and I don't
plays
know.
with sand.
And, yeah, sure. Oh wait, that's the tune for a theme song for a vastly superior superhero movie. Sorry, excuse me.
Yes. Way to blow the end early. Welcome to Drawing Conclusions. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jessica.
Today we're reviewing Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman.
Aquaman.
For those of you who are not goobers.
All right. It stars Jason Momoa, Amber Heard,
Nicole Kidman, Willem Dafoe,
Yeah.
Tamora Morrison, Patrick Wilson.
other people. Oh yeah, Dolph Lundgren's in this.
And Dolph
Yes!
Lundgren. The second movie I've seen this year with Dolph
Dolph
Lundgren in
Lundgren's
it.
making a comeback
2 movies this year,
with Dolph
which
Lundgren.
is like twice as many movies as I saw in the 30 years previous to this year.
Yeah,
with Dolph
with Dolph
Lundgren.
Lundgren.
Anyway, Josh, what did you think of Aquaman?
Well, okay, first let's start with the good. I did like a lot of the visuals and some of the conceptual ideas for the underwater
Kingdoms, cities.
Some of the decor, like the costumes, I thought were all right, pretty cool. I did like some of the cinematography. I thought was pretty effective and really nicely done.
Yeah.
But more than that, I did like Jason Momoa in this show.
Yes.
I thought he was charming, funny, a good action star, and I think he actually, he did a lot of heavy lifting carrying this movie.
Right.
How about you?
So I totally agree about Jason Momoa. I mean, he is the reason that this movie works on any level is because of Jason Momoa. Because, if for me, some people, like, the visuals are enough to...
Yeah, tide them over.
Right, or, like, great action or something, but I need a story, I need characters I can get behind, and Jason Momoa was the only character I cared about in the whole entire movie. Aquaman, like...
Well, that was like his dad, Tamora Morrison.
Oh, yeah, I care about him, okay. So
There's two people.
But, Tamora Morrison's not in it that much, you know, so that wouldn't have carried the movie. But
No.
Jason Momoa as Arthur Curry as Aquaman, he is not the greatest actor in the world, but there's something about him where he's very charming, very likable.
But that's okay,
and
though.
the script plays to his strengths as an
Right.
actor.
Right. I mean, he's certainly not the first star to have had that kind of thing
Right,
happen.
no.
I mean, Schwarzenegger, anyone? Come on.
Look, yeah, it was not a criticism. I'm
No.
just saying, well, one of the things that they did right is the script plays to his strengths. So, they don't make him be serious too often. He cracks a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
He does a lot of just like kind of, hey, look at me, I'm a superhero.
Action hero stuff.
Right. I mean, it's fine. It totally works. I agree that some of the movie was quite pretty.
Yeah.
And impressive to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, one of the things I was just thinking about was there's a scene that's in the dark on the ocean, and I actually thought that was a really well shot scene.
Yeah.
And well choreographed. There's a kind of fight with some. I don't want to give it away,
Right.
but it's a dark scene on the water,
Yeah.
and just the way that they did the lighting and the choreography of what happens during that scene, the blocking and the set.
It was
blocking's
really
like a
nicely
theater
done.
term, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was really well done. What did you not like about this movie, Joshua? Everything else.
Yeah, everything else. I'll be more specific. The dialogue was cornball at its highest. I mean, it was just
the worst.
It was just really
The
cliche. Yeah, the
worst.
worst. It was so corny at parts, and it was just, the dialogue I thought was really clunky. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Some of the other things that went on in the show was just like the fight scenes were too long for me. I mean, I'd like a good fight scene, an action sequence, all that stuff. But it's like they serve their purpose like really early on in the fight, and it's just like, okay, wrap it up, get on to the next thing. I mean, it's funny that it's a long movie that felt like a long movie.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a long movie. The story itself is pretty simple, but then they put this 2.5-hour movie on top of a pretty simple story and make it way too complicated and complex. It's really, really tough to slog through. It was for me.
Yeah,
tough to slog through.
They bog it down quite a bit, and it just feels a little bloaty in that respect.
Yeah.
I think some of the other performances by the other actors, Nicole Kidman, were not great.
No.
She seemed to have phoned this in, faxed it in, mailed it in, whatever.
Pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and there was one scene where she looked like Predator. Anyway.
Yeah, that was...
Not really a spoiler,
was ridiculous.
But it was kind of silly. You know, and just the overall way it ended, and I don't know. It was... There are some continuity issues between this and other movies in the DC universe,
yeah.
right? Justice League, where characters may or may not have met, which they clearly did. And it's just like, what? How did you drop the ball on that? And so that was kind of dumb.
So easy.
Anyway, how about you?
Yeah, I agree. The dialogue was stupid. The script was stupid.
Right.
I mean, so much of the dialogue is like cliche and ridiculous. I mean, there's some really funny parts. There's some really enjoyable parts. And then anytime it tries to be even remotely serious, that's when it falls down.
Yeah, I think they need to have someone
like when it's being funny, it's funny.
Right.
And then anytime it's like actually like trying to be like, this is a serious issue that we're dealing with, it's like,
yeah, they need to have someone come in and tighten that stuff up.
It just doesn't work.
And trim out some of the other things.
The plot's overcomplicated. Characters say things that make absolutely no sense. They make decisions. They react in ways, not just even make decisions, because they're not. It's not the decisions they make. It's their reactions to things that are happening.
Yes.
Make no sense. And I'm not talking about even necessarily main characters. I'm talking about like the people around the main characters. I'm like, give me a reason why people would behave this way. I don't understand it. Some of the visuals were terrible. Some of the CGI was not good. The hair design throughout the movie was stupid. Like distractingly stupid. Some of the costumes were distractingly stupid. It had roaring sharks, just as you see in the trailers.
Yeah, the roaring sharks thing, that was like, what?
And here's the thing. It's a comic book movie.
Right.
It's a superhero movie. And so there is a lot of willing suspension of disbelief that you have to walk into a comic book movie with.
There's a lot of reality you can forgive and forget and all that stuff.
And I get that. But it was too much for me.
Well, they didn't pull it off.
No.
I think that's the problem. I mean, I've seen other movies where it's like you can suspend some reality and allow some zany stuff to go on. This one, it just didn't work.
Just the whole background story of how Atlantis got to what it is today.
And how the
how that whole thing
kingdoms
evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, what?
That was a hard one to buy.
It was not well told, and it was, I was like, well, that just, there's no believability in it at all whatsoever that anything like that could have ever happened. I sighed quite a bit in the last half of the movie. I was tired of watching it, and I was waiting. I really was looking forward to it being over. Did we even stay to see if there were like...
Yeah, we saw the post-credit thing.
I can't even remember.
Yeah, there was the one with the one guy and the one thing at that other place.
No, you'll have to tell me when we're not on a spoiler-free review.
Right.
Because that's how little I cared about it. I don't know.
There is a post-credit scene. Or I guess they call it mid-credit scene now.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember.
Yeah. It's not great.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to be someone who's like a real fan of the comic
There's like two villains in this movie, and one of them is really just there to set up
future films.
For him being a villain in a future film.
Yeah.
And I did not find him to be
threatening,
a compelling villain, nor did I find the main villain of this story to be compelling. So that's another problem with this movie as well. Yeah. Not great villains.
No, they were pretty... Well, one was super cliched. In fact, both of them were pretty cliched.
Oh, yeah.
And
you don't know anything about them to make them like more interesting or nuanced than a super cliched villain.
Yeah, I mean, they did not work for me. I did not find them threatening.
Right.
Or terribly menacing.
Or interesting.
Or interesting, yeah. Like, I think a good villain is someone who's a bit sympathetic. You're like, okay, I can see where he's coming from. Whereas these guys, I was like, okay.
Well, like, you can see like why people would follow that person.
Yeah.
You know, you see like how their ideas could be attractive to people, how they might have the charisma to get people, you know, like they seem like they could be a leader that would draw people away, you know, through deceit or, you know, the twisting. Right, you know. No, there's none of that. Anyway.
Or just like making a compelling argument for like, hey, we need to do it this way and here's why. And this seemed like...
something greater than just being like...
Even with like the thing that they try to set up to, you know, push things forward, Like they create this, ruse. I'll just leave it at that, and it's just kind of like, okay.
So anyway, all right. So what rating would you give this, Joshua?
Oh, out of 5, I will give this 2 guppies.
2 guppies.
Yeah.
Ouch. Wah,
I was,
wah.
and again, it gets 2 guppies because Jason Momoa is worth at least 2. The rest of the film falls flat. If it was any better, I would have given this like 3.5. I mean, it has some mild entertainment value. I mean, not much.
Yeah.
There are far better comic book films out there, even within the DC universe.
Yeah, 2. 2 stars seems pretty. 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Don't see it. Don't waste your money.
Well,
wait for...
At the very least, wait for a rental or,
or
cheaper theater or something like that, yeah.
I don't know. Does Netflix show DC movies anyway? But
that's a good question.
Yeah. But if you're going to go see a superhero comic book movie this season, it should be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great
so
movie.
we'll review that later.
That's coming soon.
Coming soon. All right. Thanks. Don't forget to
like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
and also check us out on Patreon where we have our spoiler reviews.
Yeah.
And more in-depth conversation about films that we discuss.
Right. And you can get rewards like free prints, digital prints. You can watch, you get access to our podcast. You can also see art tutorial videos, all kinds of cool stuff. So check that out.